In today's tutorial, we're going to look at how to crochet this cable panel. I'll be making this panel into an ear warmer, but you can use this design for whatever you like. It would make a lovely cushion, be great in blankets, lovely for a scarf. It really all depends on which yarn weight you choose. I've used Style Crafts Bellissima DK with a 4.5mm hook for this, and the actual width of this panel is, I think, about 5 inches. Let me just check for you. Yeah, it's about just under 5 inches, which is plenty wide enough for an ear warmer. Now, all I've done is work until it fits around my head with a little bit of stretch, and then I'll just sew up the ends. The actual design is a simple 8-row repeat. So we start with 2 rows of half double crochets and then do one of our post stitch rows. So this is row 3, and we then work through to row 10 for the pattern repeat. I'll leave timestamps for each row so you'll know exactly where you're up to. The only difference is when you're doing your row repeat here, row 11, which is a repeat of row 3, you'll be working around post stitches rather than into a half double crochet row. And it's really easy because every other row is actually a half double crochet row. The reverse is quite handy to see. It's easy to count your rows as well, because you can see here you've got a little ridge. So you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. You are asked to skip 2 stitches a lot in the tutorial in between your post stitches and to anchor them down with half double crochets, which you can see here. So you can see these are where we've skipped stitches. Right, having said that, let's get on with the tutorial, and we'll begin by crocheting 20 chains to start. Begin with a slip knot on your hook and chain 20. Once you've crocheted your 20 chains, work a row of half double crochets. First of all, skip the first 2 chains and work a half double crochet into the next chain, then half double crochet in each chain to the end. The first 2 chains count as a half double crochet. So here we are at the end of row 1, and we have a total of 19 stitches. That comprises of 18 half double crochets and our 2 chains, which count as a half double crochet, giving us a total of 19. So your stitch count on each row must be 19 for this design to work. For row 2, begin by working 2 chains and turn the 2 chains count as a half double crochet. Skip that first little space there and work half double crochets into each stitch to the end. So continue, and I'll meet you in a moment. So here we are, almost at the end of row 2. Just make sure you don't miss the last stitch where we need to pop another half double crochet. It's a good idea to just count at this stage that you do have 19 stitches in total. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and then we have our chain 2 just here. So that gives us a total of 19. For row 3, we begin first of all by working 2 chains at the end of row 2, turn, and this will count as a half double crochet. Now we're going to skip this first stitch here, and we're going to do a front post treble crochet or triple crochet around this stitch, the second stitch on row 1. So yarn over twice, insert your hook behind the post of that stitch, like so. So the post lies in front of your hook, and then complete your stitch. Yarn over, pull through, and then complete your stitch by working off 2 stitches at a time. Yarn over twice, come back down to row 1 and work another front post treble crochet, like so, around the next stitch. Then we need to come back to the row we're working on, skip 1, 2 and half double crochet into the next stitch. And this is how it's looking. Next, skip 1 stitch on row 1 and around the post of the next stitch on row 1, work another front post treble crochet. Work a front post treble crochet around the next stitch on row 1. Then skip 2 stitches, 1, 2 and half double crochet into the next stitch you're working on, row you're working on. And you repeat this sequence all the way to the end of the row. So we skip the next stitch on row 1, front post treble crochet around the next stitch, and also front post treble crochet around the next stitch, like so. And then we skip 2 stitches, 1, 2 and half double crochet into the next stitch. So continue with this sequence of stitches to the end, and you'll end with a half double crochet in the second of your turning chains. So we're just now at the end of row 3. To complete row 3, you can always pop a hook in like that, and you'll see your 2 turning chains there. Insert your hook into the second of those turning chains, trying to go under 2 loops, and work a half double crochet to finish row 3. You should have a total of 6 sets of 2 of these front post stitches. For row 4, chain 2, turn, skip that first stitch, your chain 2 count as your first half double crochet, then half double crochet in each stitch to the end. That's all there is to row 4 and to every even row from now on. So go ahead and I'll meet you at the end of row 4. So we're almost at the end of row 4. I'm just about to do the next to last stitch, which is of course a half double crochet, and then we find our chain 2 and half double crochet in the second of those 2 chains to complete row 4. So this is how it's looking from the reverse. You can see here these little bumps are where we have done our half double crochets, and these are our 2 skipped stitches. For row 5, begin by chaining 2, and turn. That will count as your first half double crochet. Now we're going to make some more front post treble crochets on row 5, but this time we will cross them over in the center. But to begin, we're just going to front post treble crochet around the front post treble crochet 2 rows below here. So just bring your hook behind that stitch and complete your stitch as normal. And do a front post treble crochet around the next stitch 2 rows below. And once again we need to skip 2 stitches. I just happen to know if you find this next post stitch, you'll see those 2 little legs there. If you just go up to the right, that is actually the stitch you need to do your half double crochet in. And now we're going to work another front post treble crochet around the next stitch, or the post stitch 2 rows below. You actually skip over this stitch here. Then work another front post treble crochet around the next front post treble crochet 2 rows below. And once again, half double crochet, skip 2 on this row and half double crochet in the next stitch. If you're a little bit worried you haven't skipped 2, just bring your work like so. This is your post, or your, not your post stitch, your half double crochet, and there you've skipped 1, 2, and here you've skipped 1, 2. If you prefer, you can just count the stitches as you skip them. Now we're going to work some crossed front post stitches, but we're going to do front post double treble crochets. For double treble crochets, all you do is wrap your yarn around your hook 3 times. You might find it helpful just to secure those loops with your finger, but you'll work your own way out how to do these. Now you skip the next 2 post stitches 2 rows below, and you work into these 2 post stitches, the next 2 along. So we'll go underneath this first one here, just like so, and complete our front post double treble crochet. So all it means is we have to work off an extra 2 stitches from the treble crochet. There we go. And then you yarn over 3 times again and come along to the next stitch 2 rows below the post stitch and complete your front post double treble crochet. Then you might like to just check here, there was your half double crochet, skip 1, 2, and into this next stitch work a half double crochet. This is how it's looking. This next bit I'm going to show you is probably the most difficult or fiddly part of working cables in crochet, as we need to now work our front post double treble crochets around these 2 skipped post stitches here. But rather than coming over this cable here, we need to go underneath it and then work those stitches. So if I just hold the yarn and try and show you, yarn over 3 times and then bring your hook underneath those cable stitches there. If you look, there is a gap. You just bring your hook under there and then bring your hook over to this first cable here, front post stitch here, and then bring your hook back up and underneath like so. So rewind the video as many times as you need to. I'll just show you once more. So we yarn over 3 times, bring our hook underneath or behind that cable, and then bring our hook underneath the post of that stitch and back up underneath the cable, and then yarn over and just pull that yarn through, and then work off your stitches 2 at a time, just like you would for your normal. I think my yarn has split a little, but you will end up doing a yarn over and pulling through a total of 4 times. Right, got in a muddle, but that's no bad thing because at least it's authentic and you can see it really isn't easy. But if you know what you need to do and you can see what you're meant to be doing and you practice, then of course it's going to be easier. So yarn over 3 times, bring your hook underneath, find the first post here of this set of 2, bring your hook back up and then yarn over and pull through. And now you're ready to work off. I think it's split again, but never mind. When you overwork the yarn, it does split. I know I'm making excuses, but it's true. And then just work them off 2 at a time. It doesn't matter if you have to do it like that. And then yarn over 3 times, come back under this cable here and find your next post stitch there. Bring your hook back up like so, yarn over, pull through, and then work off 2 at a time. I think I've nearly lost it there. There we are. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we need to see here we've done a half double crochet there. Skip 1, 2, and half double crochet into our next stitch. And now we've completed the crossover. So that is the most challenging and difficult part of working cables in crochet. So just practice and practice, and you will get the hang of it before you know you'll be whizzing through. It's just that initial idea of working underneath this. Now sometimes you won't need to do that. On row 7 I think it is, we work over it and it's a doddle. It's just on this one where you have to have the cable laying over this way that you have to go behind it. Right, we now just have the luxury of working some front post treble crochets around the next post stitch 2 rows below. So that's just yarn over twice and working our post stitches just like we did at the beginning of the row. And then we skip 2 on the row we're on and half double crochet. So we can see here was a half double crochet, skip 1, 2, half double crochet, and now we're ready to work another 2, well, a front post treble crochet around the next post stitch 2 rows below, and another front post treble crochet around the next post stitch 2 rows below. And now to complete, we work a half double crochet in the second of our turning chains, and that completes row 5. For row 6, we chain 2 and turn, and once again ignore that first stitch here. You'll chain 2 count as your first half double crochet in each stitch to the end, making sure you have a total of 19 stitches in all. So go ahead and I'll meet you at the end of row 6. So I just completed row 6. To begin row 7, chain 2 and turn. Then work a treble front post treble crochet around the post stitch 2 rows below. Front post treble crochet around the front post treble crochet 2 rows below. Again, skip 2 stitches and then work your half double crochet into the next stitch. Now we're going to work this row slightly different to row 5, same principle, but this time we're going to cross our post stitches. First we're going to cross here, and then we're going to cross here around these. So we do front post double treble crochets again, yarn over 3 times, skip these stitches, post stitches here, and go around the next post stitch 2 rows below, and work your double treble crochet. Front post double treble crochet, I should say. Front post double treble crochet around the next front post double treble crochet 2 rows below. Then skip 2 stitches on the row you're working on and work a half double crochet into the next stitch. Now we're going to cross over in front of this cable here and work our post stitches in the 2 skip stitches, post stitches 2 rows below. So yarn over 3 times, just come straight across and work a post stitch around the next, well, the first of the skip stitches 2 rows below. The first of the skipped post stitches, I should say, 2 rows below. Then yarn over 3 times again and work a front post double treble crochet around the next skipped post stitch 2 rows below. Then half double crochet, skip 2 stitches, I should say, 1, 2, and half double crochet into the next stitch. So we'll just have a quick look at this now. You can see this is how it's looking. And then we repeat. You can see here we're going to skip over these post stitches here 2 rows below, and we're going to front post double treble crochet around each of the next 2 front post stitches 2 rows below. So yarn over 3 times and work your post stitches as shown. Yarn over 3 times and a front post double treble crochet around the next post stitch 2 rows below. then half double crochet, skip 2 stitches on the row you're on, and half double crochet into the next stitch. We'll come back now and we'll work around the skipped post stitches 2 rows below. They are a little bit hidden, so just tease them out a little if you need to. So yarn over 3 times, insert your hook behind that skipped post stitch and complete your stitch as normal. Yarn over 3 times and work your front post double treble crochet around the next skipped post stitch 2 rows below. Then half double crochet, skip 2 and half double crochet in the next stitch. I'll just show you here. You skip 1, 2 and half double crochet in there, and this is how it's looking. To complete the row, just work front post treble crochets around the front post treble crochets 2 rows below. And then again skip 2 and work a half double crochet into the second, so 1, 2, the second of those turning chains or building chains, and that completes row 7. Row 8 is just as normal, where we chain 2, turn and skip that first stitch as our 2 chain or our half double crochet, and half double crochet in each in each stitch to the end. So go ahead, complete row 8, and then we'll be ready to begin row 9. At the end of row 8, chain 2 and turn. Row 9 is really just a repetition of row 5. So we just do our front post double crochet around the post stitch 2 rows below, the first post stitch 2 rows below, and a front post treble crochet around the next post stitch 2 rows below. Then we skip 2 stitches on the row we're on, and we work a half double crochet into the next stitch, front post treble crochet around the next post stitch, which is just here, 2 rows below, and work another front post treble crochet around the post stitch, the next post stitch 2 rows below. Skip 2 stitches and work a half double crochet into the next stitch. We're now ready to work our crossed stitches here. So first of all, we're going to work post stitches, skipping 2 post stitches 2 rows below and working around the next 2 post stitches 2 rows below. So yarn over 3 times, work a double treble crochet around that post stitch, and then around the next post stitch, work another double treble crochet, and then skip 2 1, 2, and work a half double crochet. Now we're going to work underneath this cable here, or the post stitches, just like we did on row 5, and first of all working this skipped post stitch and then the next skipped post stitch. So yarn over 3 times, bring our hook underneath. It might help actually to secure those. Bring your hook under, bring your hook underneath and up, yarn over, pull through, and then work off 2 at a time. And then repeat around the next skipped stitch. I think it's split a little. I don't know, I think we've got 5 there, so I'll repeat that one. So yarn over 3 times, back underneath, yarn over, pull through, and then work off 1, 2, 3, 4 times. That's it. And then find, that was our half double crochet, 1, 2, and half double crochet into the next stitch. There we go. And that completes the crossed double treble crochets for row 9. So now we just do regular front post treble crochets around the next post stitches 2 rows below. Skip 2 stitches again, half double crochet into the next, and then complete your final front post treble crochets around the remaining front post stitches 2 rows below, and finish by skipping 2 stitches and working a half double crochet into the second of your turning chains. That completes row 9. Yes, I had to look, I'd forgotten where I was up to. Right, so now we need to chain 2, turn, and skip that first stitch as we already know, because our chain 2 counts as a half double crochet, and half double crochet all the way to the end for row 10. So go ahead and I'll meet you when you've completed row 10. So I've just completed row 10 with my half double crochets, and row 11 we would repeat row 3. You can see the only difference is on row 3 we worked our post stitches around half double crochets, whereas repeating row 3 when we work row 11 we're actually going to work our post stitches around existing post stitches. So that's all there is to row 11, which will be the first row of the row repeat. For those of you who are not quite sure what I mean, I will just go ahead and show you the repeat of row 3 on row 11. So we need to chain 2 to begin, turn, and then work your post stitch around the post stitch 2 rows below. So it's your front post treble crochet. Just as normal, we start every row like this. We skip 2, 1, 2, half double crochet into the next stitch, then front post treble crochet around the post stitch, the next post stitches 2 rows below. I should say each of the next 2 post stitches 2 rows below. And once again, skip 2, half double crochet in the next stitch. We have a look here, we have skip 2, 1, 2, and then front post treble crochet around the next post 2 post stitches 2 rows below. There it is. We skip 2 and do half double crochet in the next stitch, front post treble crochet in the next post stitch 2 rows below, and the same again in the next post stitch, skip 2, half double crochet in the next stitch, and then we can complete our post stitches. Which are front post treble crochets 2 rows below, skip 2, half double crochet, and our final front post treble crochets in the remaining 2 post stitches 2 rows below, 1 post stitch around each post stitch, and then we just do a half double crochet into the second of those turning chains, and that completes the first row of the repeat. And then you'll do your half double crochet, etc., etc. Right, so that brings us to the end of today's tutorial. I do hope you've enjoyed, and you will carry on with the cable designs and enjoy making whatever project you choose. But in the meantime, I'd just like to thank you so much for watching, and take care. See you soon.